Hi there, and welcome to the I'll Try That podcast. This week, I'm joined by Mr. Joe Druitt.
Hi, guys.
Mr. Matthew Barber.
Hear me now. Oh, sorry, I'm here too. Hello, hi everyone. Mate, can you just give us 5? Yeah, no, cool. Yeah. No, she was out of order. Right, yeah, take care, mate. See you later. Sorry, let's do it. Let's record it.
Yeah. And this week, we're heading up to Scotland, and specifically Edinburgh, where we're going to be sampling Cold Town Beer, which is a brewery based up there. But first...
I'd hope so.
Otherwise, what are we doing there?
Yeah. But first, we're going to go to the hot topic, and that's with me. Oh, hi there. It's Rich.
I was wondering this whole time how you were going to do that transition, and you nailed it. Absolutely nailed it.
That sounded like genuine surprise as well. That Oscar is just next ceremony. You'll be there.
Yeah, I'm pleased for it.
Beating off Will Smith. Wait, no, don't do that.
But I want to talk about it. So I was on a stag do a couple of weekends ago, up in Leeds. Have you guys ever been to Leeds?
I need to watch the cricket at Headingley.
Okay.
Oh, that's good. I was there for we'd been to, actually it was after our PGL season, actually, Rich, the very first PGL season I was involved in, and anyway, we're staying with friends up who lived in their parents' house was in Leeds because it was good fun. I enjoyed Leeds, a good Leeds night out.
Hell of a city.
I was unbelievable for this stag do. Never been to Leeds before in my life. And we got introduced. A part of the stag do is usually you're paintballing out for food. Went and did karaoke, but we also on the Saturday we did something called the Otley Run. Have you guys ever heard of the Otley Run?
Heard of it? I don't know what it is.
No, I've never heard of the Otley Run.
So I was told that we're going to go and do the Otley Run, and the Otley Run is a pub crawl in Leeds, and it comes down Otley Road and it comes into the centre of Leeds. Okay, and it is 16 pubs, and you have a beer in every single pub as you go along.
Oh,
yeah,
that is hectic.
Oh yeah, and so
enjoy.
And so of course, in usual stag do fashion, they were like, right, we're all going to dress up. As we spoke about earlier, I'm currently not the biggest Star Wars fan in the world, but we all dressed up as stormtroopers, and of course the stag was Princess Leia.
Nice.
That's good. Yeah. That's very good.
Little chase,
which was quite fun. But so I was expecting to be dressed up in this thing, and we were to be the only people dressed up. And I just assumed all these towns say that they have a pub crawl, and that a few people would go and do it, sort of thing. And I just assumed we would be the only people dressed up doing the Otley Run into Weymouth, and not into Leeds city centre, to Leeds. I was wrong, and I mean so wrong. I've genuinely never seen anything quite like it. So we were driving in the taxi to get to the end of the Otley Run, which is it's called the Woodman's, is the first pub. And no word of a lie, there was about 10 to 12,000 people doing the Otley Run. Everybody...
What?
Yes. Everybody...
In one pub?
No. So this is like the whole run in all of the 16 pubs. But
they're all at the starting line.
But everybody was dressed up. Everybody was dressed up. And the taxi driver is like, yes, this happens every single Saturday. This isn't even...
The one taxi driver who's knackered.
He's chipped every 10 to 12,000 people.
Bloodshot eyes, chain smoking. I've been doing this 5 years straight.
I don't know why more cabbies don't come up here.
I don't know why he's got a Cockney accent considering he's in Leeds.
Barber, master of accents.
Yeah.
That's it. I just blend in wherever I go.
But
so hang on. So let me get this straight. You've got 10 to 12,000 people doing the Otley Run at the same time.
Yeah.
Hang on, mate. Taxi for 11,942, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, so better get my mate in.
So
good fare, this.
Sorry, but may I just ask? But there's 16 pubs. Yeah. Someone do the quick maths. How many people per pub will there be at any given time?
862.
We're queuing to get into pubs on this Otley Run. It's insane. And like people are queued up, and I was like, "Is this an organised thing?" And they're like, "No, this just happens every single Saturday. It's just a thing that people do, and everyone's dressed
through the summer.
Yeah, no, all year round. The cab driver
all year round.
The cab driver's like Freshers Week. It goes up to 25,000 people doing the Otley Run.
Damn.
It is, but everyone's dressed up. I just don't get it.
Do you get numbers? What's the record?
I'm not too sure, but yeah, but it's mad.
But so what are the characters and dress ups were you seeing? So you guys were stormtroopers with Princess Leia.
Stormtroopers with Princess Leia. So we had there were the Peaky Blinders. Were out and about. We saw lifeguards with a singular shark.
Nice.
There was the Ghostbusters.
Nice.
There was the Lord of the Rings, the whole Fellowship, which was amazing.
That's good.
Fair play. Yeah.
That takes more effort than most.
Yeah,
that's
that
for
was
sure.
it. And then there was the Fox and the Hound when they were
They
chasing
didn't have
each other.
Crusaders with a cross of St. George and a dragon.
No, we didn't. We didn't see that,
okay.
but we did see somebody as an inflatable penis. So it was a
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, okay, that kind of vibe.
Yeah, but genuinely
wacky races. I guess that might be where I might
there
go.
was the wacky races there. It was mad. There were. But yeah, genuinely, it was just an insane experience to go to. So I managed to do all 16 pubs, the whole stag do. So I did 16 pints, and you end up in somewhere called the Dry Dock, which is a boat in the middle of Leeds. That's also a club. And yeah,
Fair play.
And they can hold 12,000 people in this club.
Well, you can also imagine most people don't make it that far.
Right. But I also imagine like those who aren't also doing the Otley Run might also go there. So that's not exclusive to the Otley Run people. Probably still getting quite a few thousand people in this club then.
No, well, yeah, it's mad. So you stop there, but it's so close to the city centre of Leeds, you then just continue on into Leeds to go clubbing. But yeah, it was absolutely bonkers.
And presumably it only works because there are staggered start times, right? So
it's not organised.
But it's not organised. It just happens.
No, but like not enforced. But people do just turn up. Some people turn up there for opening time, and some people turn up there, not long before the end.
What's the earliest? What time does the earliest start time of
I'm assuming 12 o'clock. Like you've got to be 12 o'clock's got to be the early. So we started at 3.
That's a long day, isn't it? 16 pubs on your way into Leeds city centre.
I wonder what the fastest anyone's ever done it in is
the
without
sprint.
Writing themselves. Yeah.
But no, it was a heavy day. But yeah.
Maybe one year they should actually put hurdles out as well.
Well, that sounds like a sight to beholden. That is for sure. Not just for the amount of people that's doing this, but also the different costumes, the different situations. Were you finding that you were obviously queuing to get into bars, but once you got into bars, were you able to get drinks and stuff? Was it
because the turnover is so quick? People are literally in there for a beer and then they're gone. Nobody's waiting around, sort of thing. You've got 16 pubs. It's and I think that
got to hit it. Were you drinking a pint per pub, or were you just mixing it up a bit?
No, it was a pint per pub.
16 pints in a session.
Yeah,
wow.
But I think the thing that amazed me the most was these 16 pubs that had been chosen had just accepted that they were doing the Otley Run. There was no one. There was no conversation with
them.
They're
probably rubbing their hands.
Yeah,
I think they're pretty happy. They get this many people on a regular basis. They must be some of the richest pubs in the world. Well, that is a crazy number to be happening very regularly on a Saturday.
I'm not sure I'd apply to work there.
No.
Imagine being the person who goes into pub 3 and goes, "Hello, could I have a mojito, 2 gin and tonics, 3 glasses of white wine, and a Guinness, please."
It doesn't strike me as the kind of place that has mixed orders. It's sort of like,
that's it. Yeah.
I'll have 6 lagers, please. Yeah. What lager? Yeah, the lager.
Yeah. Yes.
I'll have the lager. Yes. Well, that is an experience and a half. Barbara, in your Krakow recent stag do experience, were there 10 to 12,000 people doing the same run that you were?
Not quite that organised. It was just there was very easily that number of people, but just all out causing havoc and running around in circles and just being wonderfully naughty and stag do-ish.
So talking about stag do or hen do kind of like friendly cities, let's face it, there are some that are more friendly than others. Like going to London or Paris for your stag do or hen do probably won't be that fun. Whereas going to places like Leeds, going to Krakow or Dublin that I recently went to, it was just full of stag do's and hen do's. It was full of it.
Yeah.
Like absolutely full. And they're just better catered towards that kind of style, I think, where you're kind of there for a singular purpose. People are more accepting of what's happening on stag and, you know, the fact that there are 16 pubs apparently that you're going to hit in a session, which is crazy. I can't even imagine going through 16 pints I mean, actually, I can say we do not recommend anyone try and do 16 pints in a session. We definitely drink aware if you're doing that.
You're going to be in trouble. There's no need for that many, surely.
Oh, it's crazy. So anyway, that's but the fact that you've got a lot of people dressed up in loads of different situations, scenarios, would have been a very much of a sight for sore eyes, that's for sure.
Based on my experience of last Friday, if Bristol Airport have a flight going there, it's stag friendly. That's all I can say. Yeah, Bristol Airport Friday morning at 7 a.m. You were trying to pick out the people who weren't on stag do's, basically.
Well, here we go. I've just sent you a picture on WhatsApp of our.
I don't want to see it.
Right there.
It's not like your other picture you sent us on WhatsApp, is it?
Do I need to zoom in?
It's now not sending. Oh.
Well, actually, you probably shouldn't do that anyway because it might mess up the recording. If I'm quite honest, Drabs. But anyway,
I think does that conclude that segment?
Yeah,
it has to be.
Yeah.
We've been talking about it for 10, 12 minutes, so it's a good section.
So what are we drinking
healthy
today?
hot topic. So we're going to talk about Cold Town beer. So Drabs, Cold Town beer. What do you know about them?
In all honesty, I'm not gonna lie, not a lot. I found Cold Town beer I purchased it from Lidl when they were doing their fancy beer middle aisle week sort of thing, and I brought it. And it's currently been sitting in my fridge, kind of just taunting me for a while because I've been saving it for this record. But I know they're based up in Edinburgh. And you meant to drink them cold.
They're a Scottish brewer, as we're finding another fantastic Scottish-owned craft brewer. I'm with you. I hadn't really heard too much about Cold Town until this. I went to Lidl like yourself, saw Cold Town, and this specific beer caught my eye. Rich, do you want to tell the viewers what beer we're trying right now?
So we're currently drinking the Pornstar Martini Ale.
Yeah. You heard that right, folks. The Pornstar Martini Ale. Now, has anyone actually had the Pornstar Martini cocktail before?
Yes.
Yes, it's a passion fruit delight, isn't it?
It's passion fruit,
Yeah.
Okay.
Normally served with an extra shot. I hear opinion is divided on the matter with the extra shot of Prosecco, whether you should have that as a chaser or you should pour it into the cocktail.
Right, okay. So it's like fruity, it's bubbly, it's something quite light.
Yeah, and here's me pretending to not know about a Pornstar Martini because I'm a serious beer drinker. Yeah, or something like that. I don't know.
Opinion is divided about whether you should have it afterwards or separate.
my girlfriend tells me.
But actually, so now you've just described what a Pornstar Martini is. That makes a lot more sense to the can design. So it's pink at the top, and it's this kind of creamy colour at the bottom. And it's got this big black square with cold fruity beer written in the middle. And that is their kind of design of at Cold Town. They have quite very bold colours, like a split colour at the top to the bottom. And they have this block of which is black with text in the middle of it, which is really interesting, actually. It's quite a standout. And Cold Town beer have quite a lot of different brews. They are, in Drabs' words, a craft brewer. They definitely hit your definition, Drabs. And they have a whole range of different beers here. And this Pornstar Martini Ale is one of their kind of limited release beers. It's not a regular beer.
And so Cold Town is, I think, because it's the old term. I'm trying to figure out, is it the old term for Edinburgh? But Cold Town, which is just to sound like you're saying Cold Town, but with a sort of cobbled together accent, but which actually the the first. Am I reading this right? Do my eyes deceive me? The first in Britain to brew lager in 1835.
Who Cold Town beer is?
According to what I'm reading here, I just need to fact check. We'd love a factoid, but that is out of this world.
So Carlton Hill Brewery in Edinburgh was the first brewery in Britain to create lager back in 1835. The small suburb
1835.
brewery called it home, earned and named Carlton as it sat directly in cold shadow of Arthur's Seat. Over time, they collectively became Carlton Hill.
Arthur's Seat in Edinburgh. Yeah. Dang. After that first brewing of lager, it's very much been under the radar, I think, until very recently. Sorry, I'm going to hammer that point about lager coming back. I'm not letting them get away.
So that's where the name Cold Town comes from, because it's from this Cold Tune. But actually, Cold Town Brewery only started in 2018.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, so that's where they get the name from, is this Carlton Hill Brewery, which is based on the site of where this tune comes from.
Very subtle difference between the names of the two. Yeah, Carlton Hill Brewery and Carlton.
No, it's very confusing, actually. I had to really read through the lines and kind of take a second there. But yeah, so they very much started in this kind of 2018 craft brewer phase, kind of creating... I mean, it sounds like they've created themselves in the image of this very historic brewery, Carlton Brewery, or Carlton Hill Brewery. And they've kind of done a new craft take on a lot of their brews. So their first beer that they came out with was a lager.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well,
and so that started out, so their cold crisp lager, which is their what they refer to as their refreshing without sacrificing mouthfeel or flavour, was officially awarded the best Scottish Pilsner in 2021.
Oh, okay. Because also the Cold Town House rooftop bar was Beer Bar of the Year 2021. 2021 was a hell of a year for these guys.
Absolutely. And I'm kind of reading more about this. So they have this whole... They kind of refer to themselves... Obviously, all their beers, they say, are vegetarian. I mean, that makes sense. No one's pretty... We talked about this in the last episode. Why are people thinking they're putting meat in beers? That doesn't make any sense. Anyway.
It's like going, this beer isn't radioactive. well, it shouldn't be, should it? Really?
So these are one of the many people, modern brewers, who are talking about being vegetarian, which is well, yeah, okay.
I just want a hearty broth beer.
If they want to do a little bit of demand, managing their own demand, maybe they should also have the little under brewery label that go, we've actually got a pork belly beer for those meat eaters who want it, and then they're managing the demand, right?
Well, for us who are kind of poo-pooing them, they're describing it as the fact that all of their beers are suitable for vegetarians, and most of them for vegans, as we do not use any isinglass derived findings in our brews. Please see our individual products for more information. Now, isinglass derived findings, I'm just going to have to Google that, because this is the first time I've ever heard that before.
I think I actually once had to go to the doctor with that once upon a time.
So, isinglass is a traditional findings, a substance that causes yeast to precipitate out of suspension, leaving beer clear. Isinglass is derived from the swim bladders of certain tropical and subtropical fish.
So, are we drinking... Have we been saying that all beer is not vegetarian all of this time?
Yeah, to be fair, isn't... Whoa, wow, oh, so wow, we're getting revelations here. Yeah,
I think mind equals blown, chaps.
Yeah, sorry, and it's like the end of The Usual Suspects. It was right in front of us this whole time. Yeast is a living organism.
Yes. Yeah, sure.
So that's why.
But yeast is one thing. This is what isinglass is. It starts the yeast process, so it stops it out of suspension. So they're not saying that yeast is the thing that makes it vegan or not vegan, or vegetarian or not vegetarian. What they're saying is the fact that brewers have been using this isinglass to start the process of yeast like being out of suspension. So it's not the fact that yeast is yeast; it's the fact that they use this to
The phrase
start.
is east. Actually. I figured the inference there was that if they use isinglass instead of yeast, that makes it vegetarian.
No. Yeast is constant. Yeast is always used. They're saying that isinglass is used to start the
catalyst,
yeast process.
if you will.
Yes, catalyst is a great word. Well done, Barbara. Love that word.
Thank you.
Gold
I
star.
remembered it from my school days.
So yeah, I mean, this is news to me. If I'm quite honest, I'm going to hold my hands up. We're 102 episodes in now, and this is the first time I've ever heard isinglass being used or talked about as a part of the brewing process.
Is it?
So with that context, this gives this whole vegan vegetarian claim on brewing cans a bit more kudos than I personally gave it credit to before.
Yeah, I'll stop laughing at things that I don't really understand. It's probably a good approach for most of life, really. Yeah.
So there's a lot of things about Cold Town beer which I thought was quite interesting. They're really doing a whole thing as you're expecting from a new age brewery about like sustainability and carbon reducing. They're saying some facts here that that recycling wise that their packaging that they use they ship their cans in 85% recycled packaging. That is in itself 100% recyclable.
That's good.
So they work with the Forestry Stewardship Council to make sure it's certified to those standards, which I think is quite cool.
Props.
They're also creating stupid beers, as many breweries do.
Yeah. So is that have we explored? Are there options beyond the blah, 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 blah.
Pornstar
What's the word?
Martini? I
Pornstar
genuinely
Martini.
hope so.
New England IPA.
The first one that started out, the Cold Town Lager, that was the first one that started out. They have a New England IPA. They also have a cold jammy beer called Queer Puddings.
I beg your pardon. Oh, I beg your pardon. I'm looking also at these. So I've just seen Raspberry Miami Vice. Miami, you see it written down and you go, oh, what the hell's that? And then you say it out loud and you go, get it. I get it. Raspberry, Miami Vice beer, Miami Vice. Why aren't you guys laughing more? Chocolate cake stout looks expensive, so up your street, Rich.
They've got one for Pride month called Proud as Hells, which is with the Pride colours. It's quite cool.
There's slightly rude suggestions with taking the pith.
And that's beer. Looks like an orange flavoured beer, is it, right?
Yeah. So it's marmalade notes, dried orange peel, caramel raisin.
Now, there's a part of me which is going, this will hit Drabbers' criteria for a craft brewer. But also at the same time, it looks like they actually only have like a core, like 6 or 7 beers. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're not a Rich's craft beer. What do you reckon, Rich? Is this a craft brewer or not?
Or are they crafty?
They've got some interesting stuff, but they need to. If that's all they're doing and that's all they're not, they need to start expanding. They need to start experimenting, but they also need to start making beer that tastes nice. Like this. I'm trying this Pornstar Martini, and okay, it's not a beer, it's not an ale, it's a soft drink. They've just created. It just doesn't taste what it's meant to taste like.
Have we got another Tiny Rebel on our hands then? Is that what you're saying? That they've gone for that kind of very younger new beer drinking audience and very sweet.
It's very, very sweet. It doesn't taste like an ale. I can't taste the hops. I can't taste anything in it. And just listening to the names of their other beers and stuff like that, I just don't feel... I don't know, it just doesn't taste like a beer to me.
I should also clarify before earlier on that cold jammy beer is the queen of puddings. I misread it because they put an unfortunate condensation bubble over the N, so it made it look like an R. But that is the queen of puddings.
I did think something out. It just didn't flow out of your mouth.
No, I was quite confused with what I was reading because I thought they couldn't clearly call it what I thought it was called, but it's a Queen of Puddings is what they've actually named the beer.
I see.
And it's a jammy beer they refer to it, which makes sense, kind of Victoria Sponge maybe.
And that's just not...
But it goes back to what you were saying. It's quite sweet. It's quite, they're going for a very different audience. I'd be interested to try their more staple beers like the lager, the New England IPA, so we can have a level playing field. Obviously, my intro to Cold Town beer right now is this Pornstar Martini Ale, which I've never had anything like this before in my life. I've never had a Pornstar Martini cocktail, so I've got no frame of reference. But as you said, Rich, it's very sweet. It's a very fruity tasting beer. Ale is a generic term in this context. It's just like, you might as well just call it a Pornstar Martini beer. It doesn't have a pale ale taste to it. It doesn't have an IPA. It's not a DDH by any stretch of the imagination. It's just a generic beer with this overpowering fruity flavour to it.
And that's it. And I just don't... If you're going to package it and sell it as something, at least make it taste slightly like that, is my argument to it. But I will try a Cold Town Lager. I think that is something I would be interested in trying. 100%.
I think I'd be open to trying out some of their different beers. They're like staple beers, but definitely an Edinburgh based, and we've certainly had a couple of those recently. Interesting breweries that we're going to try out. So Instagram, they have 3.5K followers. They don't even have a Twitter. As far as I can see online, it just doesn't exist.
Elon Musk.
So they have a Facebook page. Yeah, maybe not. He's got rid of them already. One definitely Cold Town beer. Interested to try a bit more. I hope we don't kind of label them as a Scottish version of the Welsh Tiny Rebel. I hope they don't become that because they're very sweet in this Pornstar Martini that we're tasting. But again, we've only tried one of their 7 beers that they have on offer. So we're going to have to try and find their lager or even their New England IPA and just give it a new go, I think.
And that's all we have time for this week's episode of the I'll Try That podcast. And so from me, Joe, Rich,
Barber,
and Simo,
goodbye. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram,
Twitter,
I'll try that podcast.com,
and watch us on YouTube.
Goodbye now.